Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, striking up the live chat here on YouTube. It's very late Eastern time, just about 12:45. And I just couldn't wait to get back online with all of you. So it's been since basically last Tuesday night. So this is a Sunday night. So 5 days off for Mark Rogers TV, you guys know, is just about a record. We did have a bit of a failed attempt from my mom's house while I was on vacation a couple days ago of doing a live stream there. So I'm going to wait for a few people to jump online. And we're not going to do some heavy hitting with college football analysis tonight, but I'm going to get you set with what we're doing going forward. Of course, this is Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. And we come your way as much as we possibly can with content on college football each and every day. I announced a few different times that starting next week, my aim for the rest of the summer schedule is to do live streams Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern time, Monday at 6, Wednesday and Thursday night at 7 o'clock Eastern time, and then who knows what other times I'm going to jump on. So I'll let a few other people jump on the live chat. I'll, of course, as you know, be watching the live chat for your comments, questions, and suggestions. We always take your suggestions on content here at Mark Rogers TV, and I'll tell you a little bit about my day that led up to the live stream here, and I'll let you know what we've got in store coming up. My day started with a trip to the Indians game. So I went up there to Cleveland with my buddy and his brother and his dad. We had a good time at the Indians game, despite the Tribe losing to Oakland 6-0. All right, guys. Yeah, let's see. We've got Panther Pro 22 on the line. The CAC. I've never seen the CAC before. CAC, welcome to Mark Rogers TV. And we've got Greg on the line. Greg, I have yet to see you online as well. So welcome to Mark Rogers TV. And maybe you guys have been watching for quite some time. So I appreciate it. And Greg, a Bama fan. So if you've got any Bama comments for me, don't know that we're going to do a whole lot of hardcore nuts and bolts college football analysis right now, but I'll be back tomorrow night, Monday night at 6 o'clock Eastern time. And just wanted to kind of reset after a number of days off to let you guys know that we're back full throttle. So from today through the media days, through August camp, through, of course, the college football season, through the postseason, through the bowl games and the national championship game, I'm going to be here breaking down college football like a madman. Hey, Mark, how come you do so much about Miami? So the Miami stuff has to do with the audience. So regardless of the response, I am going to cover college football. My goal is to cover all 130 FBS teams. I'm alone. I'm one guy. That's obviously impossible. So my next goal, to scale it back a little bit, is to cover the entire Power Five. But I'm one guy, so you know that's impossible as well. So what do I cover? Well, I cover the big games, the big teams. I give those preference. Yes, you're going to see me talk about Arizona, and I'm going to talk about Purdue, and I'm going to talk about North Carolina State, and I'm going to talk about some of the second and third tier teams. But most of my attention is going to go to the Ohio States and Wisconsins and Alabamas and Miamis and Clemsons, okay? That's first and foremost. Then the second consideration is who's watching what. So I don't get much response talking, let's say, Wisconsin football, but Wisconsin is a major player, and I want to bring Badger fans to Mark Rogers TV. If you know Wisconsin fans, bring them on to Mark Rogers TV. But not much of a response on Wisconsin football right now. But follow me. I didn't have any response on anybody at one point, so I'm not going to ignore the teams that need to be discussed. So I'm still going to cover the teams that get little response from the fan base right now, because I'm going to eventually draw in the fan base with your help. The other thought is I still have to play to my strengths to a certain extent, and my number one strength right now, followed by Ohio State, USC, Alabama, and a few others, but my number one would be Miami. So we do a lot of Miami. I've made a lot of contacts with Miami contributors like Cam Underwood, State of the U, Alonzo1219 on YouTube, the Wholesome One. You see him on YouTube as well. So a lot of Miami contributors here at Mark Rogers TV, a lot of Miami response. For example, right after the spring game, the CAC, right after this Miami spring game, I came on live, got 10,000 views. So I got to play to my strengths, but I will cover all of college football and do it equitably as much as one person can, and more on that in just a second. All right. Go Tigers. So we've got an LSU fan on the line. We've got Greg with Bama, of course, Panther Pro 22 as well. Big Bubba Blue, don't choke. Wisconsin or Michigan this year, Panther Pro 22. Predictions are coming. Predictions are coming. And that's one of the reasons I'm on the line. So now that I've got a few people on the line, about 10 or 12, I'll let you guys know that this was my day. I got up, had some nice conversation with my mom, had some breakfast. Then I went to the Cleveland Indians game against the Oakland A's in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. Sunny skies, 81 degrees, beautiful day for baseball with my buddy, his friend, and their dad. Great time, great food, club seats, all you can eat. Tribe lost 6-0 though, but we had a great time. Then I went directly from Cleveland and I drove 8 hours and I wound up here. And as soon as I walked in the door, I dropped the bags and I fired up the live stream to get us back covering college football. All right. Gabe, a Cincinnati Reds fan, and I have not seen Gabe before. This is funny. I strike up the live stream out of nowhere, walking in the door for the first time in 5 days. And I've got a few people on the line that I've never seen before. Gabe, welcome to Mark Rogers TV. Panther Pro 22. Bama got 1 out of the next 2. Ohio State will win 1 out of the next 5. Panther Pro making his college football national championship predictions. The CAC. Watch out for them Tigers 2020, possibly 2019. Mark my words. Actually, when I started this YouTube channel, it was on the mark. Got to get a better coach for LSU. I was asked about Lane Kiffin the other night. If Coach O wins 7 or 8 games and no more, does he get shown the door and Lane Kiffin join the LSU Tigers? That would all depend on who else is out there in the free agent market after this season. But we're focused on 2018. You guys know about my contest, of course. So courtesy Alonzo1219. Get me the most subs before July 15th. So we are just about, we are only about a week away from the deadline. Get me the most subs, and you listening on Facebook as well. Get me the most subs on YouTube before July 15th. And courtesy Alonzo1219, who is just the best, you get yourself some college football swag. And I mean quality swag. And I have told you time and time again that I would make a video where I would display the swag. Well, go to Alonzo1219's YouTube page and you can see the swag there. So you get a shirt or a hat if you want to go the standard route, or you get some nice bling. And it doesn't have to be Miami bling. Anybody in college football, anybody in sports, NFL, NBA, MLB, and Alonzo1219 will hook you up, whether that's on Facebook or on YouTube. You get me the most subs before July 15th, and you win some swag, some serious swag that's worth some money. So join the giveaway, bring me some subs. And the reason we do this is to get you some nice gifts, also bring some more attention to Mark Rogers TV. And of course, I've had a nice run of subscriber increase despite not being on basically for 5 days. I've had a nice run here in the last month or so. So thank you. I posted on Twitter and Facebook the other day. Listen to this, guys. Listen to this, especially you old timers, you faithful ones. This time last year, meaning the first 6 months of 2017, and I don't count these up. YouTube gives you the analytics, so don't think I'm counting every comment. YouTube does a nice job of presenting the statistics and analytics. This time last year, for the first 6 months through June of 17, I had 1,300 comments to Mark Rogers TV on YouTube. This year, for the first 6 months of 2018, over 17,000 comments, from 1,300 the first half of 17 to 17,000 plus 17,236 was the number for the first half of 2018. So thank you. And actually, I looked at the numbers for June, and we had over 9,000 comments just in June. So think about that. 17,000 for the first half of 2018, 9,000 just in June. So it's exploding. People get concerned about views and subscribers, but a lot of people that are in the know, and this is all thanks to you, tell me that the comments, the engagement, that means a whole lot. So thank you very much for that. Panther Pro 22, potential #1 recruiting class. I'm out of the loop here on the comments. I believe he's talking about Miami, and I've got a cord problem down here. Abe Griggs on the line. Abe, are you new to Mark Rogers TV? I would like to know. So between the CAC, Abe Griggs, who else have I seen here on for the first time? There was somebody else. Greg. What's your last name? Greg. Well, we got Gabe Emmert, Abe Griggs, Greg, and the CAC. Do me a favor and just let me know how long you've been watching. I would love to know. Bama leading by a long shot. What are you talking about? So we're talking recruiting 2019. So you guys have at it there, and I will let you know what's coming up on Mark Rogers TV. We are 1 week away, 1 week meaning Monday, away from SEC football media days, and I think I'm losing my Facebook deal over here. Facebook people, if you want to see a better picture and transmission of the signal, go to MarkRogersTV.com and you can join in the chat. Otherwise, just stay on Facebook, but I'll make the Facebook videos much better in the future. We'll get ourselves the tripod and we'll be all set up. But I did strike up the live stream as well on Facebook. Cash Boy D. When is Stephen M. Smith joining again? You know what? I will send him a text as soon as I get off, and I'm sure he will come on as soon as he possibly can, and maybe that will be tomorrow. Yeah, 19 Savage. I went to the Indians game. Did you hear that off the top? So I went to the Indians game this morning. I was staying with my mom this week and visiting family and friends. Went to the Indians game with a few buddies and just drove the 8 hours, walked in the door, dropped the luggage, started the live stream. That's how committed I am to college football talk. All right. I wanted to reconnect with you guys. It's been 5 days. It's been 5 days. I couldn't stand it. So even at 1 o'clock in the morning, I just had to do something here. But we will be all set with another live stream Monday at 6 Eastern. Plus, I've got this set. I'm going through coaches' rankings in every conference. I've knocked out the SEC. It's not posted yet, but I've knocked out my notes on the SEC. I've got to post that tomorrow. I'm almost done with the Big Ten. I'll knock out the Big 12, the ACC, and the Pac-12, and we'll get those videos knocked out very quickly. Then I'm going to rank all the schedules. So I've got all the schedules printed, just need to rank them, need to go through the grid, need to compare and contrast and go through the whole process and rank the schedules 71 all the way up to #1. So this is all the Power 5 and the independent schedules. We're going to rank those. And hopefully I can get that done by the first day of SEC Media Days, which is 1 week from Monday. I believe it's July 16th, SEC Football Media Days. And that week will be all over Media Days. And for the next few weeks after that, a lot of Media Days from all the Power 5 conferences. And I will get to as much as I possibly can. And while we're covering that, I will go through all the Power 5 and make all my predictions and give you previews on all the Power 5 teams. And maybe even more than just the Power 5 if I can get there. I know I had to put on hold the rankings, the player rankings. We did the top 5 quarterbacks in the SEC and the ACC, the top 5 running backs in both leagues, the top 5 wide receivers, and the top 5 tight ends in the SEC. And I did the top 10 running backs and quarterbacks in the nation. And I'm going to put that on hold. Probably won't get back to that, unfortunately. But next season will be primed to do all that. And in future or in past off seasons, as you know, I've been able to knock out all the player rankings, but I want to make sure I get the team rankings and predictions and the coaches rankings and the schedule rankings. I don't think you guys really care about my schedule rankings, but I just love to do them anyway. Panther Pro 22, Bama, Texas A&M, LSU, knocking out the recruiting rankings for us. Cash Boy D, don't know what you're alluding to there, but I'll take the shiny white smile. Big Poppy JT, when is Alonso coming back on? Okay. I got a request for Stephen M. Smith. I got a request for Zoe, who again is sponsoring my first and foremost contest here. The very first contest at Mark Rogers TV, sponsored by Zoe, and some beautiful swag. Get the most subs to Mark Rogers TV by July 15th and win yourself some serious bling. Looks good. All right. Nothing on the chat except for recruiting. Want to let you know that Alex Galbraith, the gridiron expert, has joined Mark Rogers TV. He is going to help us with content, as he has a few times. We've knocked out a video last week on the Heisman Trophy race and also reviewed the Power 5 races for 2018. And Alex joined him on the Gridiron Expert, where he posts his predictions there, but he's going to help me with content here at Mark Rogers TV. And Alex is already helping me with all sorts of stuff behind the scenes with affiliate marketing and social media. So he's doing a great job. And with Patreon. So stay tuned for some announcements there. Have another intern starting next week. So we'll make that big announcement. And we are pleased to be growing here at Mark Rogers TV. And the more help I get, the more I can help you and produce more and better content. 247 Sports is the most trusted recruiting site. What site were you looking at? We are really getting into the recruiting. Do you guys realize, listen to this, because I know I've got a ton of LSU and Miami interest out there, that I believe it's 8 weeks from tonight, it being a Sunday night, late night, Monday morning, 8 weeks from tonight, right now, 1:30 in the morning, we will be sitting right here talking the aftermath of the mighty Miami LSU game, the game that you guys cannot get enough of arguing and trash talking about. We will be talking about it on a Sunday night, 8 weeks from tonight, right now. I can't wait to see the reaction on the live chat. Whether you love LSU or love Miami, especially those two schools, but everybody's obviously always welcome. But especially if you love LSU or Miami and have been trash talking for the last year here on the live chat, I invite you back. Please watch our post-game analysis and then be person enough. I don't want to be chauvinist. I won't say man enough. Be person enough to show up even if your team loses. Mark, you're trying to start stuff tonight mentioning that game. I usually don't have to mention that game, Lamar. You guys mention it for me. It just hit me sitting here on a Sunday night that game's on a Sunday night, and it's, I believe, 8 weeks away. So that's what we're going to be doing exactly 8 weeks or 56 days from right now. It's going to be an hour after the game, and we're going to be at it. It is going to be one of the great all-time live chats in the history of YouTube live streaming. I will be disappointed if it's not. It will be exceptional to see you guys go at it after the LSU Miami game. Or it's going to turn out where just all LSU or just all Miami people are going to be on the chat, and the rest of you guys are going to run away scared and not want to stand up to the result. I don't know. Big Bubble Blue. I don't care for both of those teams, but LSU, Miami going to be good. 19 Savage asking how far Indians Stadium to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So the Indians, of course, play in downtown Cleveland. Canton is the home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's a healthy hour's drive. I was staying about 40 minutes away from Cleveland, about 20 minutes from Canton, right in the middle of the two locales. So I've been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame a few times. Well, when I was a little kid, I used to go all the time. I'd go like every other summer. But I went with my son about 3 years ago, was the last time I went, and I hadn't been there in a long time, and it was unrecognizable. The main entrance in 1990 of the Pro Football Hall of Fame was like a side door with a little cement blab in front of it with a little staircase, and it was just kind of an emergency exit that wasn't even used anymore. And that was the main entrance to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1990. They've blown it out so much and expanded so much since then. And so there's the Pro Football Hall of Fame that I've seen many times. But the last time was about 3 years ago. And of course, watch my beloved Indians go down to defeat today 6-0 to the Oakland A's, but still in first place. Do you know anything about the Washington Huskies' strengths and weaknesses? Okay, here's a quick recap on the Washington Huskies, Lamar. I haven't specifically done any prep on the Huskies, but we could generally say that they've got Jake Browning at quarterback, who, of course, is a senior, led his team to the college football playoff 2 years ago. Possibly the best team in the Pac-12 last year, despite not winning the division to get to the championship game. When all was said and done, they were a top 10 or 12 team, just didn't play the schedule, and of course lost the key games to Stanford in particular. And his first year, he was thrown right into the fire, Jake Browning, year one, game one on the road at Boise State. And it was a rough first half, but he showed a lot of poise in that game and pretty much showed what he was going to be able to display the rest of his career. So Jake Browning is not the most talented quarterback in the nation, but he might be the best. So they're rock solid at quarterback with Jake Browning, a senior and starter for 4 years. Myles Gaskin at running back is the star. He's run for 12 or 1,300 yards the last couple seasons. They have one of the best left tackles in the game in Trey. I'm going to mess up his last name. Trey Adams. Trey Adams is the left tackle at Washington. He's a first-team All-American player. They do bring back most of the offensive line in addition to Adams, who was banged up last year. So they get one of the best left tackles in the game back for a full season, hopefully. They're a bit young at wide receiver. They have some issues at wide receiver that they need to shore up. They lose one of the very best in the business along the defensive front, who was just a monster in Vita Vea. But their secondary, once again, is rock solid, and the defense is really good. Washington has the best combination of talent, experience, and production in the Pac-12. USC may have talent-wise the best roster, but Washington, if you combine the roster talent with the experience and the production coming back at the key positions, namely quarterback and defensively as well, Washington has the best team on paper in the Pac-12. And Chris Peterson most likely is going to sit atop of my rankings as the best coach in the Pac-12. So, Lamar, I hope that was a nice little synopsis on Washington football for you. Is Tua going to start? Yes, he is going to start. I watched the highlights of the Vanderbilt game last year. I just watched them about 3 nights ago, and I know that game was a joke. It was after Vandy came off a 14-7 win over Kansas State, where they were feeling good about themselves. They beat a top 25 team. They made the stupid comments about Bama's going to get stomped. Wait till they come to our house. And they got annihilated 59-0. That's not the reason I watched it. I watched it because those were the most meaningful snaps, not in terms of the score of the game, because it was an annihilation, but in terms of quality opponent that Tua played before the national championship game, and I wanted to see. I watched the cut down version to watch Tua play against that Vanderbilt defense, and it was impressive. The throw that he made to win the national championship was nothing compared to, in terms of difficulty, 2 or 3 throws that he made against Vandy, where he threw the ball against tight coverage and laced it in there with velocity, trajectory, the whole deal. I just don't see Jalen Hurts being able to match him as a thrower. Is a definite better runner, but Tua's capable on the move, on the run, and then this shouldn't be a surprise. He was a 5-star recruit, so he will start. I believe he will start. I won't be shocked if he doesn't get the job. If Nick Saban says, let's go with Jalen Hurts, let's play it safe. Alabama is going to be a heavy favorite for all 12 games this year. They have their 2 toughest opponents at home in Mississippi State and Auburn, and they play 2 lightweights in the Eastern Division in Tennessee and Kentucky. I think Saban will play comfortable with Jalen until he starts messing up. You could be right. LSU will struggle on offense against Miami. I would expect that. New quarterback, running back, new wideouts. People act like Tua's first game was against Georgia. He had been playing. Cashboy D, you're correct. He had 77 passing attempts. He had 11 touchdowns before the national championship game. Who is starting for Texas? I believe that's got to be Sam Ehlinger. That's a tough call as well, because you have 2 very distinct players, with Ehlinger being more, and I'm going to move my Facebook shot to help those folks out. And if anybody's commenting and I miss it on Facebook, it's because I'm blind and I can't see that far. And I can only watch one live chat at the same time, not 2. So if you're on Facebook and you want to join the conversation, go to MarkRogersTV.com, MarkRogersTV.com, and you can see the chat right here on YouTube. What were we talking about? Who's going to start for Texas? Well, 19 Savage, you could probably answer that question better than I could. That's your team. I will say that based on what I've seen, Ehlinger just last year, Buechele going back the season before, is that Buechele did have a better grasp of the offense, is a better thrower. Not that he's got a better arm. He doesn't have a better arm necessarily. He can throw it better. He can spin it better. He anticipates the throws. He's more polished, and he was grasping the offense better as of last season. Now, Ehlinger's got a full August camp in the books coming up, following spring practice, and all that time to watch film and prepare himself and throw with the wide receivers in the summer. So Ehlinger could catch him because he does have the arm talent, and he's a feisty kid. He's a leader. He inspires. Buechele's a little bit more laid back, and Ehlinger's a better, tougher runner. I think Ehlinger's going to win the job, but I'm going to place that at 55-45, the odds. I think it's close. Panther Pro 22 saying Ehlinger has an it factor, and that's what I was trying to explain. He inspires his teammates. He's got some fight. I'm Bama through and through, but LSU is losing to Miami, according to Greg. NCIS Fanatic 21 saying Ehlinger will start for Texas. And NCIS Fanatic, if you missed it off the top, I went to the Indians game today. This was my day. I got up, nice conversation with mom, nice little breakfast, which included a couple donuts from Krispy Kreme, which is my favorite that I never get to eat. And then I hit the road to check out the Tribe. Beautiful day, 81 degrees. Had a great time with my buddy and his brother and their dad. And unfortunately, the Indians couldn't score, and they lost 6-0. Didn't even see my team score a run, and that's probably the only time I'll get to see the Indians this year. Then I left directly from the stadium, drove home, dropped my bags, cranked up the live stream. Crimson and White 17, Coach Rick just don't have a killer instinct. I'm not going to make that call quite yet on Mark Richt. If we're sitting here in 3 years and Miami has racked up a bunch of 10-2, 9-3 seasons and has yet to beat a Clemson or Florida State in the ACC championship game, maybe. Ashton Smith, is this your first time? Ashton Smith, welcome to Mark Rogers TV. Steve Ensminger will show you a whole new offense, especially seeing receiving core is our offensive strength. Yeah, so we expected to see a whole lot out of Matt Canada last year. There was so much hype, and he had done so much with that Pitt offense the year before. Remember the 76-point game against Syracuse? And yeah, if they can't develop a Joe Burrow into a capable SEC quarterback, then we know that something is gravely wrong there, because this is going to be about 7 straight quarterbacks that they've not been able to develop at LSU. All right, folks, what else are we going to talk about here? I just wanted to let you guys know again, we've got a contest going. Bring subs to Mark Rogers TV. Whoever brings the most subscribers by July 15th wins the big swag from Alonzo1219. I'm going to start cranking out the content. Took some time off. I'm back, ready, full throttle through August camp, conference media days, through the season, through the postseason, through the national championship game. And even if I take some more time off, which I may catch a little time at the beach, I will make sure that the Wi-Fi is strong and solid and stable, and I can deliver. I'm ranking the coaches in the SEC and the Big Ten. I will do the entire Power Five, but I've taken my notes and I'm ready to deliver on the SEC and the Big Ten. We will get that done tomorrow. I am also going to be ranking the schedules next. And then after that, come the much awaited previews and predictions. Brenda Harris. Brenda, what you got? I was just wondering about the SEC East. My buddy's a Kentucky fan. Where to put them in the East? Their program has gotten really better the last few years, and their running back Snell is good too. So, Brenda, I believe aside from LSU, you're going to be starting a quarterback who has never thrown a pass at this level. So that's a concern. It's probably going to be Terry Wilson. So the quarterback situation is a bit unstable, especially if you compare it to the other programs that are competing at the top of the SEC Eastern Division, namely Georgia, also South Carolina. Benny Snell is one of the best running backs in the SEC. Please check out our video, the top 5 SEC running backs. We had all 3 of us, Mike, Kevin, and myself. Benny Snell rated rather highly. And the defense at Kentucky is very underrated, but very good. Mike Edwards, really good. They have some serious playmakers on that side of the ball, Kentucky. So here are my issues with Kentucky football and competing in the SEC East, Brenda. Quarterback, complete inexperience. Wide receivers are decent, but not nearly as good as the other ones in the top. They're not nearly as good as the South Carolina, Florida, and Georgia wide receivers, and the offensive line's not nearly as good. The defense is the Kentucky defense will be better this year, I believe, than every other defense in the SEC outside of Alabama, Mississippi State, Georgia, and Florida, and probably on par with South Carolina. Not as good as Auburn. On par with LSU and South Carolina. Defensively, Kentucky is going to be really good. If they could match offense and defense this year, if the offense could have a pulse, much like South Carolina did last year in winning 9 games, that's Kentucky's formula to finish second in the East, is to get mistake-free play at quarterback, Benny Snell, healthy with a huge season. The defense is going to be really good. The out-of-conference schedule is weak. They do have to play Alabama in the SEC Western Division. I don't remember who the other game would be Mississippi State. So they played two really good teams out of the Western Division. That doesn't help the cause. But Kentucky, we will see, Brenda. I will make my prediction here in a few weeks on Kentucky and everyone else. But that's my take on Kentucky football, coming off 2 consecutive 7-6 seasons and a bowl loss. I would think that you and the rest of Big Blue Nation there in Lexington would like to see your team win, let's say, 2 more in a bowl this year. Instead of 7-5 in a bowl loss, how about 8-4 in a bowl win? This year would be a step in the right direction. They need to knock off a good team. Who is the best team that Kentucky beat last year? Did they beat South Carolina? I think that they did win that game. So that would be the best Kentucky win last year. The best win the year before would have been beating Lamar Jackson in Louisville. So Kentucky has to start beating. They're at a point where they're winning the games they're supposed to win. They beat Tennessee and Vanderbilt last year. They probably beat Missouri off the top of my head. They got annihilated by Mississippi State. They, of course, lost to Georgia. They lost to Florida. Again, there's your game. Beat Florida this year. That gives you the extra win to 8. And then go out and beat someone you couldn't beat this year outside of the SEC in a bowl game. That would be a nice season, Brenda, don't you think? You go 8-4, you win the bowl game, you're 9-4. Lamar, Louisville might scare Bama if the pass rush isn't ridiculous. Louisville pass well is you let them see. Okay? I'll take your word for it, Lamar. I don't think Louisville's got a chance in that game. I'm thinking that's going to be something in the range of 41-17. Something in that range. Did you hear about Missouri joining the Big 12 again? I did not. Yeah, Kentucky over South Carolina. I did remember that game, NCIS Fanatic 21, 23-13. Lamar, I know those are typos. I know you're a well-educated college football fan with some good things to say, but I just couldn't. I can usually clean them up while I'm reading it, but I couldn't do it that time. Why isn't Hoke going to start at Kentucky? The competition is still in play and will be throughout August, from what I understand, but most people project Terry Wilson to be the starter. So 19 Savage has Missouri going back to the Big 12. Okay. Haven't heard anything about that. So before I sign off tonight, because it's been a long day and a long night, but I wanted to say hi to everyone. And I wanted to let you guys know that I'm ready and I'm ready to go full throttle and we're going forward with this. And just took a little bit of a breather, a nice little respite, as they say. And again, if I go on another vacation, I am broadcasting from the beach with good Wi-Fi. Alex Galbraith, the gridiron expert, joining us here at Mark Rogers TV. He's on the staff. Guys should all be excited about that, helping me behind the scenes as well. And I have another one joining the staff that I will introduce sometime this week, hopefully. And again, the contest, bring subs to Mark Rogers TV, win some swag, courtesy Alonzo 1219. The bling is tremendous. It's fancy. It's quality. And just bring me some subs by July 15th and you can win some bling. All right. SEC Media Days are 1 week away. We'll be all over it. Meanwhile, schedule rankings, coaches rankings, and then previews for the 2018 season with predictions coming up as soon as I can get to all of that. I will be back tomorrow night, Monday night at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Let me know what guests you want me to bring on. Otherwise, I'm going to be banging out those lists like nobody's business. Best coaches, coaches rankings, player rankings, team rankings, conference rankings, schedule rankings, the whole deal. Yes, summer is flying by. All right, everyone. Yes, the schedule moving forward is going to be 4 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday, 6 o'clock Eastern on Monday, 7 o'clock Eastern on Wednesday and Thursday. I'll try to stay with that throughout the summer. Then we'll reevaluate for football season. And then, as you guys know, I can always jump on here at any time. But I am committed to 4 o'clock Eastern on Sunday, Monday at 6 Eastern, Wednesday and Thursday at 7 Eastern, and all of the other video content that we will bring your way. Chris Harris on the line. Thanks so much for joining us. So welcome to Mark Rogers TV. Yes, we will continue the live streams and get those your way. Panther Pro 22, 5213, 5213. I said 4217. I gave Louisville a little bit more credit than you. I think it will get ugly. 54-3. Ouch. All right, everyone. Appreciate the support. Remember to like and comment. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. I don't think that hurts anyone to subscribe. I don't think if you've got your notifications set up the right way like I do, I don't even know who I'm subscribed to because I don't get the notifications. It just helps us out. I don't think it should bother anybody out there. So please subscribe to Mark Rogers TV, like and comment. And again, the comments have been unbelievable. 1,300. Think about this. 1,300 the first half of 2017, 17,200 first half of 2018. So thanks to you. And I love doing these live streams and these live chats. And that's why after traveling 2 hours to a baseball game, back and forth, and then traveling 8 hours home, that I dropped the luggage and hit the live stream because I had to hear from you guys. So thanks so much. We appreciate it. And I will see all of you tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And in the meantime, I'm ranking the coaches, and I'll get those videos out to you as soon as possible right here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. See you next time.